There is a profound psychological truth about masculine psychology that, when understood, can transform how connection and devotion are created. What if the key to creating deep, lasting bonds with men wasn't about changing who you are, but about understanding the hidden architecture of the masculine psyche? Carl Jung's pioneering work revealed that within every man exists a fundamental drive, not just for conquest, but for meaningful challenge and purpose. This isn't about manipulation or playing games. It's about comprehending the psychological currents that flow beneath surface-level attraction. When you understand these deeper mechanisms, you move beyond creating mere interest and into the realm of inspiring, genuine devotion. The most captivating women throughout history intuitively grasped this distinction. They knew how to speak to a man's core self, not just his superficial desires. Have you ever noticed that the more available you make yourself, the less certain men seem to value your presence? This paradox points to a deeper psychological reality that Jung explored extensively. Within the masculine psyche lies what he called the hero's journey, an innate need to overcome obstacles, to prove one's worth, to earn what is valued. When everything is simply given, this fundamental drive remains unactivated. The man may enjoy the comfort, but he won't feel the deep, soul-stirring pull that transforms casual interest into unwavering commitment. Jung discovered that a man's deepest motivation springs from this need to become someone worthy of what he desires. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about embodying someone worth pursuing, not as an object to be won, but as a person whose depth, mystery, and self-respect naturally inspire a man to rise to his own highest potential. The masculine soul awakens not to what is easily gained, but to what is truly worth earning. This understanding requires us to look beyond superficial dating advice and into the realm of psychological archetypes. Jung mapped the territory of the human soul, identifying universal patterns that govern our deepest motivations. For men, one of the most powerful archetypes is what he called the self, the complete, integrated person each individual has the potential to become. When a woman can see and reflect back this potential self to a man, she touches something profound within him. She becomes not just a romantic interest, but a mirror showing him who he could become. This creates what Jung termed sacred tension, the creative friction between who a man currently is and who he has the capacity to be. This tension isn't comfortable, but it's deeply compelling. It calls forth his strength, his determination, his desire to grow. And in that growth, his devotion naturally deepens toward the woman who inspired it. The key lies in understanding three fundamental principles that activate this profound psychological dynamic. The first principle is what we might call visionary reflection. This involves seeing and reflecting back to a man, not just who he is, but who he could become at his best. Most people interact with the persona, the social mask we all wear. But when you learn to see beyond this mask to the latent potential beneath, you create a powerful connection. This isn't about empty flattery. It's about genuine recognition of strengths and capabilities that may not yet be fully realized. When you reflect this vision back to him, you create a psychological pull toward growth. He begins to want to become the man you see in him. This fulfills a deep masculine need for purpose and direction. Neuroscience confirms this dynamic. When we feel seen for our potential, our brains release dopamine, creating feelings of pleasure and motivation. You become associated not just with comfort, but with inspiration. The second principle is the power of interiority. In a world of constant connectivity and oversharing, maintaining a rich inner world becomes remarkably compelling. Jung emphasized the importance of what he called individuation, the process of developing one's unique personality and inner life. When a woman has a vibrant interior world, her own passions, interests, mysteries, and depth, she naturally becomes more fascinating. This isn't about being secretive or playing games. It's about having a genuine life beyond a relationship. A man should feel that he's being granted access to a fascinating world, not that he's being asked to fill an empty one. This touches on another psychological truth. The human mind is wired to value what requires discovery. When everything is immediately available, interest wanes. When there are layers to uncover, fascination grows. Your inner world should be like a fascinating book that reveals new depths with each chapter, not a pamphlet that can be fully consumed in one sitting. The third principle is perhaps the most profound: sacred challenge. This involves creating the conditions where a man can confront his own limitations and grow beyond them. Every person carries what Jung called the shadow, the parts of ourselves we repress, deny, or hide. For men, this often includes vulnerability, uncertainty, and the fear of not being adequate. When you create a space where these shadows can be safely acknowledged and integrated, you facilitate profound psychological growth. This isn't about criticism or creating insecurity. It's about holding a compassionate space where a man can face his fears and emerge stronger. When you believe in someone's capacity to overcome their challenges, you give them a powerful gift. You see their struggles not as weaknesses, but as opportunities for growth. And in doing so, you become not just a partner, but an ally in their journey toward wholeness. These three principles work together to create what we might call transformational attraction, an attraction based not just on superficial qualities, but on mutual growth and psychological expansion. When a man experiences this with a woman, his feelings transcend mere infatuation. He associates her with his own becoming. She becomes integral to his journey towards self-realization. This creates a bond that is both deep and enduring. Let's explore how these principles translate into practical interaction. Visionary reflection in practice means engaging with a man's aspirations, not just his accomplishments. Instead of focusing on what he has done, explore what he dreams of doing. Ask questions that connect him with his deeper values and purposes. What matters most to you in this project, rather than how much does it pay? When he shares his visions, reflect back what you genuinely see in him. I notice how your energy changes when you talk about that. There's a determination there that's really compelling. This isn't manipulation. It's paying attention to someone's essential qualities and reflecting them back. You're holding up a mirror to his best self. And in doing so, you help that self emerge more fully. The power of interiority manifests through maintaining your own rich, independent life. Have passions and interests that are genuinely yours. When asked about your day, share with authentic enthusiasm, but don't feel compelled to disclose every detail. I had a breakthrough in my painting today. I'm still processing what it means creates more engagement than a minute-by-minute account. This isn't about being mysterious for mystery's sake. It's about having a genuine interior world that's worth exploring. Your life should be fascinating to you first. When it is, it will naturally become fascinating to others. A man should feel that in knowing you, he's gaining access to a world that expands his own, not that he's being asked to be your entire world. Sacred challenge might be the most delicate to implement, but it's also the most transformative. It begins with creating psychological safety through your own vulnerability. When you share your own struggles and growth edges with authenticity, you give permission for others to do the same. I've been working on speaking up more in meetings. It's challenging, but important, opens a door that others can walk through. When a man shares his vulnerabilities, meet them not with reassurance that dismisses the feeling, but with recognition of the courage it took to share. Thank you for trusting me with that. I see the strength it takes to acknowledge that struggle. This approach doesn't rescue him from his feelings, but honors his process of working through them. It says, I see your challenges, and I believe in your capacity to meet them. This builds profound trust and connection. What's fascinating is how modern neuroscience validates these psychological principles. Studies show that when people feel seen for their potential, their brains release dopamine, creating positive association. When they encounter appropriate challenge, they experience growth that releases neurochemicals associated with satisfaction and well-being. And when they feel psychologically safe to be vulnerable, oxytocin, the bonding hormone, floods their system. These aren't manipulative techniques. They're ways of interacting that align with how human psychology actually works. They create the conditions for healthy attachment and deep connection. It's crucial to understand what this approach is not. This isn't about playing games or manipulating emotions. It's about embodying qualities that naturally inspire growth and connection. The difference is fundamental. One comes from a place of lack and strategy, the other from a place of wholeness and authenticity. When you approach relationships from this grounded place, you're not trying to get something from someone. You're offering a quality of presence that naturally brings out the best in others. And in doing so, you create connections based on mutual respect and genuine admiration. Many women have been conditioned to believe that to be loved, they must be accommodating, always available, endlessly supportive. While support is valuable, when it crosses into self-abandonment, it ultimately serves no one. You cannot build a genuine connection by disappearing yourself. In fact, the opposite is true. The more you honor your own wholeness, the more you invite others to meet you at that level. This is the paradox Jung identified. We find the best relationships not by seeking completion from another, but by bringing our complete selves to the connection. When two whole people meet, they create something greater than either could alone. This understanding transforms not just how you relate to men, but how you relate to yourself. The work begins internally. Before you can see and reflect another's potential, you must recognize your own. Before you can maintain healthy boundaries and interiority, you must value your own company and interests. Before you can create sacred space for another's growth, you must be engaged in your own becoming. The most magnetic quality anyone can possess is full, authentic self-possession. When you're truly engaged in your own life, pursuing your own purposes, developing your own capacities, you naturally become more interesting to yourself and to others. Your energy doesn't say, "Please complete me," but "I'm already complete, and I'm interested in connecting with other complete people." This is profoundly attractive. As you integrate these principles, you'll notice shifts in your relationships. The men you attract will be different, more substantial, more growth-oriented, more capable of genuine connection. The dynamic will feel different, less anxious, more mutually respectful. And you'll feel different, more empowered, more authentic, more secure in your value. This isn't about getting a specific man to behave a certain way. It's about evolving your own consciousness in relationships. When you change, your relational world changes with you. The deepest connections bloom between two people growing toward their highest selves. Some might worry that this approach is too challenging for men, that men simply want an easy, comfortable relationship. But this misunderstands masculine psychology at its core. While comfort has its place, what truly engages a man's deepest self is meaning, purpose, and growth. When a relationship becomes merely comfortable, it often becomes stagnant. When it includes appropriate challenge and mutual inspiration, it remains vibrant and alive. A man doesn't want a woman who makes him feel inadequate, but he does want a woman who inspires him to become more adequate. He wants to feel that in loving her, he becomes more himself, his best self. This perspective represents a significant shift from how relationships are often approached. Rather than asking, "How can I make him love me?" the question becomes, "How can I be the kind of person who inspires love in the way I want to be loved?" Rather than, "How can I get him to commit?" it becomes, "How can I create a connection worth committing to?" This shift in focus, from manipulating outcomes to cultivating quality, changes everything. It moves you from a position of powerlessness to one of creative agency. You're not waiting for someone to choose you. You're actively co-creating the quality of connection between you. As we integrate these understandings, it's important to remember that this is a journey, not a destination. There will be missteps and learning moments. The goal isn't perfection, but increasing awareness and authenticity. Each interaction becomes an opportunity to practice seeing and calling forth the best in others while honoring the best in yourself. Over time, these principles become less like techniques and more like natural ways of being. They become integrated into who you are and how you relate. The ultimate purpose of this understanding isn't simply to create romantic success, but to facilitate human growth, both yours and his. The most profound relationships are those where both people help each other become more fully themselves. When you approach connection from this place, you contribute to the evolution of consciousness itself. You participate in creating relationships that are not just personally fulfilling, but that actually make the world better by bringing more integrated, awake people into it. This is the deeper gift of Jung's wisdom. It shows us how our personal relationships can become vehicles for collective growth and healing. If this perspective on creating meaningful connection resonates with you, please support our community by liking this video and subscribing to Winds of Thought for more explorations into psychology and relationships.